Don't be nervous.
Let's go.
Don't be nervous.
Let's go. You've done this before.
How are we doing?
Looked like I just walked into a retirement home.
I love it. All right, let's go. Sit down. Sit down. How many cameras do we need? We have cameras everywhere. What? Okay.
I've been billing you as the professional ball buster, and of course you come in shooting.
I love it.
That's
It's
perfect.
great. I love it. I tell a story when
I just walked into Shady Acres.
it's like Golden Girls.
Don't make me swear. We're on the
But
air.
do you remember after the Carolina, we did that 3 games to glory too, and you sat down with, I think it was Givens and Branch, and you did the director's cut. Then afterwards, I wanted you to look at some stuff. You started, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? You started like you were Mr. And I love that.
I'm sure I had an opinion on it.
Oh, you did. It was great. We didn't take any of your advice, but it was fun, you know. But
Good.
I like that. I like that about you, and I'm sure that you're going to bring a lot to the table, you know, that way. Because
Fred said you would have made it better, but they were a little bit too far.
we were too far in the
editing
process. I couldn't take advantage of it. So my first question to you is, what gets served at lunch to the new head coach of the New England Patriots?
Chicken salad.
Chicken salad? That
Quick,
was it?
in a cup. It was quick.
Oh, man.
It's the best we could do.
A little disappointed. No
Somebody,
lobster.
along the interview process, somebody asked me what I dislike about coaching football. And I said, outside of losing, I would say the abundance of food that's available at any given second. It's just like anything that you want. Treats, snacks, chips, food. And I'm like, it's got to stop. At some point in time, it's just like enough's enough.
I hear you, because, you
That's
know.
true. That was the bad part
No,
of the
because,
plane.
you know,
That didn't do well
you
for
travel
me.
to all the games, and the amount of food that gets wasted, it's unbelievable.
Or eaten.
Or eaten. It's always there. And I tell people when we first hired, say, you don't have to eat everything. You don't have to eat everything, because they just keep serving it to you.
So, Mike, this is one of our newer members, Mike Dussault. Who's
Welcome.
Yeah.
Do you have your little?
You want to show it? All right. Yeah.
This is one of his first purchases for his newborn.
My
Who's
son.
now, how old is
Back
he now?
in the day, he's
14,
16.
16.
He's 16 now, so I had to bring it in. It's been
So
written.
he's got a little bit of a man
And I would
crush,
say
so just
that
let me
that's,
know.
yeah, I would
Let
say
me know if
Tyler
he
and
gets
Carter
too
probably
close.
both wore one of those as
Yeah.
well.
If you
But
need a
is he
restraining
Is he a
order-
rookie on this squad?
No, he's
Ben?
been here since 2019. His first playoff game with us. Well,
Okay.
you know, Fred
You
and
know
I
what
are used to
happened.
just winning titles. His first playoff game, you beat us.
Yeah, so you're
Right.
probably going to have to get rid of me if you want to play.
So
Yeah.
this is and then Evan Lazar is our new,
Yeah.
actually our newest.
Yeah, he's
you
the
know
newest.
Evan a little bit, right?
He's our resident XNO savant.
He said he was going to embarrass me.
So, no, but no, seriously, this guy. If you want,
Not seriously.
just ask him. He'll tell you.
You want to know if
he
you
can
should run
your
gap,
offense.
gap or zone.
He can run your
schemes
offense.
or-
Yeah.
And if you listen to the press conference, I said I would hope for versatility to be able to have zone scheme, but then when some of those penetrating fronts, to be able to have some gap scheme and some double teams at the line of scrimmage, that it's going to help some of that penetration.
We did.
So-
And Mike and I looked at Evan, and he was like,
So Evan, what would you recommend then?
What would I recommend?
Yeah.
That's his job. That's not my job.
I'm giving you a chance.
What's
to
your
show
favorite
up.
run? What's your favorite run?
Oh, my favorite run, power.
Power.
Pull the guard,
Down,
get a
down,
little
pin and
down,
pull.
down, and
Hill.
around.
get downhill, maybe hit a little play action
What-
behind it every
what
once in a
kinda-
while.
Now the thing is with power, we got to find a fullback or we got to find a tight end that can move and get in some of those movements. But don't disagree with some
Can
of
you
that.
bring Jakob Johnson back? Because he can speak German, and that's one of our markets.
Yeah, there's a lot of people down there in Tennessee that thought he was pretty good too.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah.
We're gonna find we'll find somebody that can do it.
Yeah. So, it's been a whirlwind, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to even just think about what's going on, or you still
No, and I think the problem was I had so much time yesterday to think about it that it was just like text messages were coming in, and it was almost like I was paralyzed. I didn't even know where to start to try to respond to anybody that was texting, and so, that's going to take I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
But just people that have had an impact or that were texting and congratulations and. The one thing that this is exciting, but we also want to make sure that we have a small circle and that we have a certain amount of people that we trust, and I try to explain that to the players that nobody texts you when you lose, right? And so you have a tough loss or a tough game, and those people that reach out to you then I always say when we start winning, remember who those people were, because the text messages start to go up when you win.
Yeah,
and so
and the requests.
it's a good reminder that the people that are there when you're not at your best should be the ones that are there when you're at your best.
Do you even know where you're going to live yet?
No. Patriot Place. Stayed in a nice hotel when we were here for the Hall of Fame, so I'm sure I'll start
You talk
there.
a little bit better about Patriot Place nowadays than you used to, huh?
Was that like did I talk negatively
It was
about
the
it?
Patriot way that he was critical of it.
No,
the
no,
street
no.
out front.
I'm kidding.
No, it was just like that was a different role. Like
Yeah.
even Robert and I talk about that. Like that was trying to do my role as a
Yeah.
union rep and on the executive committee, and that was my obligation. And now
You got to deal
I've
with
got
the
a
union
different
rep.
role.
Right.
But we're very familiar with those and all the rules and
Sure.
everything. Like, we're going to do what's best for the players.
You mentioned, helping out you and being there when things aren't good, when things are bad. Since you've been gone, my role, I run all the content here, and
Humble brag.
content has changed in sports and in the NFL. And it's, as you know, Surf Melendez, I'm friends with him back in Tennessee, and the stuff they used to do with you. And, social media has changed. What's your view of like all of that stuff? Like players having their own social media, players having their own podcasts and all that stuff. Do you have, feelings about that? Or
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a part of our life, and it's something that we probably need to embrace. It's the way a lot of these younger kids communicate. And our involvement on social media may be less than what these kids are coming out.
Yeah.
And so I think that it can be positive if it's done correctly. That if you trying to be focused on what you want to do and using the right intent, that can be positive. And the podcasts, I think you're careful. You just have to be careful. They get very conversational and relaxed.
Exactly.
And, I mean, again, like I've been on podcasts before. I've said things that you're wanting to be funny that ends up, and it wasn't negative. It was just a joke that seems to have gone on. But you just have to be careful what happened. What happens is people cut out small snippets of a podcast, and then the player's like, well, I didn't say that. I didn't mean it like that. And I understand that they didn't. But after a course of 45 minutes, it's a relaxed setting, and then they let their guard down, and then it becomes something bigger. So the biggest thing for me is the education, how to use it, how to communicate it, how to put your brand out there, your message, try to make it about the team and not so much I or me, but we and us.
Yeah.
We've been there. Have you had much interaction with some of your former teammates? Talking about this leading up to taking the job?
No. I still text players and, teammates, but not a whole lot of as it related to this or, I was busy and, but obviously Teddy and Willie and Rosie and Seymour and, Tom, I've heard from a lot of guys and reached out and texted and,
Yeah.
I'm proud of those relationships.
Yeah, I asked because Teddy was really supportive of you getting this job, and I thought he was really strong. Even yesterday, when it was already announced that you had agreed, I thought he was really a guy that seemed to be in your corner.
Well, linebackers stick together,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I met Teddy, and Teddy was one of those guys that helped me become a pro. Like Teddy and I have different personalities, but we both believe in the same thing. And Teddy taught me that no is a complete sentence, and I'll never forget that. And I said, well, how do you? He's like, no. See, no.
Yeah.
Been
So
on
I
the
was
other
like,
side of
"Thank
that
you,
one."
Wow, that's good. It makes a lot
You've
of
been
sense.
on the other side of
Of
that
Teddy?
one?
Yeah.
With Teddy? Oh, yeah.
How much different do you feel your second time around here as you sit on the precipice of starting off another franchise here as a head
Well,
coach?
it's almost sometimes do you know too much about what the job's going to entail, and that can be a positive, because I did think that you get into, there was one option. It was the Tennessee job the last time, and there may or may not have been more options now. So then you start looking, and he's like, can you overthink something? And you never want your players to be in that position where they're overthinking something, right? It wants to be like, I'm trained, I'm prepared, I'm poised, I'm instinctive, and I'm ready to go make a decision, as opposed to, well, this, that, the other thing, what about this? And so I think you're more experienced, but then that also leads into the ability to sometimes second guess what you're doing.
I mean, I know personally, I rarely get things right the first time, right? It takes me a couple times to get it right. And I'm not saying you're like that, but having been a head coach before and now this is your second stint, is there one thing you say, I'm going to do this differently this time, or this is what I've learned that I want to incorporate that I wasn't able to the last time?
No, not necessarily that. I mean, just making sure that the roster has competition throughout. You know, just whatever you feel like is the frontline starters and the backups, and making sure that everybody prepares as a starter each and every week. Try to keep everybody engaged, and hope that they take advantage of opportunities.
It's
talked about
now.
the connection piece.
Yeah.
You know, that's critical,
Yeah,
and making sure that we have people that, you know, are willing to get to know the players
I mean,
on another level.
Even since when you were a player, like practice rules have changed, and it's tougher to hold these practices, especially during the season where you keep, you know, the
Well, we
hitting
want to
and-
be
yeah.
we want to be efficient, and we want to practice with speed, so that the timing of different routes and coverages or pressures are there. I mean, I think great teams know how to practice without full pads, but there's a speed. They stay off the ground, so we'll practice as hard and as fast as we can based on, you know, the availability of the players to stay healthy and stay on their feet and not fall all over the place.
You still putting the pads on?
Yeah, well, we see the
I
chest
mean-
pad on.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We love that thing.
Yeah.
It's nice and thin. It can travel anywhere. It can go in your suitcase and go to the workouts. And that's been a good pad that they made for us.
Okay.
One of the things that was you got to wrap it up? We got to go? All right, yeah, we'll wrap it
One
up.
more question.
Well, I was just going to say, one of the things that stuck out to me when you talked about the college players and the differences, spending 5 years at a program as opposed to 6 months. What have you seen the differences as they come to you?
That the accountability, maybe they were enabled at college, don't want to tell them things that may disappoint them or upset them for fear for them to go and look for another offer.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that leads to a player that's not as accountable to the team as he needs to be.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like we can change, we can, do our part to help change some of those behaviors.
All right. Mike Vrabel,
Thanks, guys.
head coach of the New England Patriots. Welcome
Appreciate
back.
it. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.